Excited to have you here. We have talked on multiple platforms in the last little while, which I'm very excited about. I've gotten to know you mostly through your music, which I think reveals a lot more about you as an artist. So I'm excited to talk about your new project today, which is which is why you're here. X the Instrumental. I know it's a follow-up to the 2018 GMA award-winning album. I just want to start off by asking you how this project came about. Did you know at the time when you created X that you were going to make this, or this came after the fact?
It was something that I wanted to do, because at the time I was just getting into instrumental music. I was sort of just there, but I was also doing the singer-songwriter thing, and so this was felt like a bridge of moving from the singer-songwriter Drew Brown into more the hymns, the architect kind of instrumental vibe. And yeah, I was like, you know what, this would be really cool to do an instrumental thing from these pieces, but I didn't quite know whether there was like people were into that. Like, I'm into instrumental music. I think it's wonderful. It's been great for my own process, for my own mental health. It's been really, really great. I love it so much. And I've always been into it. I've always been into like soundtracks from movies and stuff when I was a kid. But I didn't think people would be, I didn't know there was going to be a need or want or desire for something like this. But yeah, it was always in the back of my head to sort of take some of these tracks and see if I can release them differently as an instrument.
Awesome. And just so that we don't get people, thinking about, you put out this body of work under Hymns for the Architect. So yes, so I want people to know that we're talking to you under that name. Now there's a bunch of interesting titles, but I just want to go back here to what you described X as. You said it was a project based around the Advent/Christmas season, which includes prayers, laments, musical meditation, instrumental spoken word pieces, and classic Xmas songs with a twist. I want to talk about the lament in there. I guess I'm going to be able to tie this to a couple of songs that are on this new album, but the idea of lamentation or lament, most people don't talk about that in more social spaces and all of that. Most people refrain from that. I think we've spoken about that as well. So I just want you to explain what that does and that thread in your expression, what that means to you as an artist.
So I come from sort of like the Christian tradition. So, like my dad was a pastor. My mom is the like super pastor's wife. I worked in churches. I was a professional Christian for many, many years. And one of the things I never understood, and maybe it's because I'm an artist, I'm not quite sure, but I never understood why there was really not a whole lot of space for pain or for grief.
Yeah.
I mean, funerals, sure, right? Yeah, for sure. But that was it. And I was like, life sucks sometimes, right? Life is hard. And so how do we, as humans, create space? And so as much as I'm from that church or like Christian world, I also spend a lot of time in the bars and the pubs. That's also sort of where I've been living. And there's always space for laments. I don't know how many times I'll get off stage, go to the bar, grab a drink, and someone would say, man, my life is so hard. Like, I'm going through it right now.
Yeah.
And I'll turn my chair around. I was like, let's talk, man.
Yeah.
Like, where are you at? And it's not that they're whining or complaining. There's like, I just need to express some pain to someone other than myself.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. And so for me, I'm like, man, I want to create space for people, not just for people who are in the church, but just for anybody to kind of like sit in the pain of whatever situation they're in and just release it somehow.
Yeah.
Just hit that pressure valve and be like, life is hard, and just let it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so healthy, especially in this time of year where with Christmas, you're kind of forced to kind of put on a smile, be a little bit cheery. It's Christmas, bro. Why are you so cranky? Why are you so down, man? Be happy. No. It's a freaking pandemic. times are tough. And so for me, like, when I released X, I wanted to sort of say, hey, like we can celebrate and still recognize our pain at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Awesome.
That's actually really healthy for us to do. And for me, that is the beauty of lament. It's not saying that life sucks, let's just, blow everything up.
Mm-hmm.
It's the idea of like, life sucks, but man, we have this. Life is difficult. There's so much injustice in the world, but yet we can be the voice of hope in the world. Oh, like there's a space to hold gratitude and grief at once and roll with it, and hopefully make your life and other people's life better, hopefully.
That's a beautiful answer, and I think it's a great segue into the two songs I talked about on this album. So again, I guess you have to listen to the first body of work from 2018, and then when you get into this, there is, I think, the fifth and the sixth song is titled "The Season of Hopeful Morning." And the sixth song is "Hope in the Waiting." So, I guess by just bringing those two titles up, you can tell how I process things and the things that kind of matter to me. So I want you to speak to those two, to the titles themselves, because putting hope and mourning in the same kind of phrase, it's a push and pull, right? I just want you to speak to the concept of hopeful mourning.
So Advent, going back to sort of the season, it is so if you look at the story of the birth of Christ, leading up to his birth, there was just they were under like a terrible dictator. They were like his parents were kind of had to travel to take a census, and it was not a fun journey. They couldn't find a place to even hang out to deliver a baby. They're in a freaking stable. And there was a lot of pain in that area at that time, political and social, a lot of pain and anguish. And people were sitting there going like, okay, so in our religion, we were taught that there was some person who's going to come down from the sky and save us.
Yeah.
What the hell? Because that person has not arrived. It's been many years. My great grandfather used to talk about this, and it hasn't happened. But yet still here I am expecting it to happen at some point. Yeah. And so it's that sense of kind of like, what? But also this steadfast hope that just won't quit. And I think even now in our present day, like there's so much going on right now. There's so much pain. There's so much torment. People are really going through it. I'm always trying to keep that sense of, but yet I have hope.
Yeah.
And so Advent is a season of hopeful mourning. And I believe this year, more than most years, especially since I've been alive, I think we're all going through that. Where, man, things kind of suck, but we're not giving up yet.
Yeah.
It's not the end. Mm-hmm. Hope's around the corner. We know that. We know we'll be out on the pubs and bars and patios. We'll be hanging out with our family at barbecues. That's coming.
Yeah.
But right now,
No, but to your point, though, I think this year, which hasn't ended just yet, I think, we have how many days to go, and there's still a lot of crazy stuff that could happen. But I also would like you to speak to the concept, because we've had a lot of conversation and a lot of yelling and a lot of shouting all through the year, whether it be the pandemic or protest and stuff like that. The concept of having an instrumental album, EP, put out, it kind of goes to the other extreme of that whole idea of people yelling and shouting and talking and all of that stuff. So how timely is it that you're able... to strip out all of the vocals and say, okay, let's just pause and calm down, which you actually say the album is meant to do, is to speak to that concept of moving the scale to that other extreme of what we've been doing.
Dude, man, you need to go work for like CNN or like some like brilliant question. And yeah, you nailed it. Yeah, yes, that was very intentional. I did not want to do a vocal album where I was kind of pushing an agenda or my opinion. I wanted actually words to kind of fall to the wayside because there's so much of it happening.
Yeah.
There's so much talking and yelling, and there's so much opinions, both smart and downright stupid out there. There's just so much of it. And all I want to do is create a space for people to just be quiet and just pause. And just, if there's words spoken, it's their own words to themselves, and that's it. I just wanted a place where it can be, just listen to your breath, listen to your pulse. Try to get rid of all the junk in your mind just for a moment, because it's nonstop barrage of noise and opinions and viewpoints. Just be with yourself. Be here now. Be present with your own thoughts, your own feelings, just for a moment. Because we need that sense of stillness and peace and calm. And so, yeah, I wanted to kind of delete. I have lots of words. I have lots of stupid opinions. Let me tell you. But I just feel like I don't want to do that right now. That's not. There'll come a time for that, and I'm working towards that. But right now, I don't want to. I feel that words can come later. I feel that right now, what we all need. And maybe I'm just prescribing my own needs to everybody else in the world, but I feel that we all need a space to be quiet with ourselves. Mm-hmm. Even though a lot of us are alone, I think we need that, to be quiet with our own voices, our own selves, just for a moment.
I hear you.
Hopefully, these 45 minutes of songs can create that space for people.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like I said, I've been a fan. I came into your music kind of late, but I have been a fan ever since, and I've listened to every one of those songs, and I think it's just an incredible record. So, part reason I do this is to actually thank artists, because it's been an incredibly difficult time for a whole bunch of people, but mostly for artists as well, who get to struggle with creativity and all of that. But for people to brave the weather, quote unquote, and to still put out artistic work, I think is just it speaks to resilience, it speaks to bravery, and that's what I think you've done with this body of work. And I'm excited for people to listen to it. When people watch this back, for the people who are here, you have to go listen to X, the instrumental. It is a phenomenal body of work. So, Drew, before I let you go, again, I've asked people this in a ton of ways, but I want to hear what you have made of the year so far. Right now, we're in December. Where do you think that we are? Where are we at with all that's happened? Where with the pandemic, with protests now in India, with all that's happened here in the U.S. There just seems to be a barrage of things that's happened this year. Probably it happened in other years, but now it seems to be, more than appears to be more than it happened in all the years. But just where do we go from here?
I feel at the beginning of the pandemic, I saw a lot of things I wish I just never saw. People were just extremely. I mean, everyone was afraid, right? So when we are extremely afraid, we all go to our worst parts of ourselves. And so we become selfish, we become mean, we become angry, we become hostile, judgmental. And so I saw a lot of that in the early days, which grieved me greatly. I feel, though, especially in the last month or so, and I don't think it's across the board, but definitely in the spaces where I kind of inhabit, I'm seeing people flip that script completely. And now they're saying, how can I give more of myself? Mm-hmm. How can I find ways in which I can just be a beacon of hope in my community.
Yeah.
It's almost like Christmas kind of kicked in just around October. And they're like, just around like Thanksgiving, I noticed a big shift. I know maybe it was earlier, but I woke up to it in Thanksgiving, where I was like, people are really trying to build these beautiful connections of generosity and hope and love with their neighbor. I hope that's a global thing. I really do. I hope this is not just something that I'm seeing in my spaces. I'm hoping, I'm praying that this is actually a thing that's happening all over. Because what I'm seeing, dude, it's freaking beautiful. People are like giving so much of themselves. There's a local business owner who runs a restaurant, and every Sunday night she feeds, I don't know, 500 families.
Wow.
There is, and now she's doing like 1,000, and it's crazy. There's another person who is trying to trying to raise money so he can actually buy a ton of property to build homes for the homeless. He's like, if we can't house them downtown, let's bring them out here. We'll find a way to do this. And he's working with different cities, and I'm like, dude, he's not a rich guy either. He's just like, he just has the hope and the drive to see this happen. I see these, and I'm talking like those are big things. I'm seeing small things. I'm seeing people just really reach out to their neighbors and really help and give and support and love strangers. I'm not talking like for even strangers doing this for people. I'm hoping this is a global thing. That's what I'm hoping. Okay. That's what I'm seeing, and that's like, let it be around the world, please. And let's stretch into 2021 because we're gonna need that even more then.
I hear you, man. It's been phenomenal talking to you. I always love your take on things. And somebody said in the comments about you being hopeful and how that was a great thing. Drew, it's been remarkable talking to you. The album itself is phenomenal. I'm going to encourage everybody listening right now to go. Drew, where can we find it?
So the album's on Bandcamp, which is a website that artists use to kind of sell their music. The reason why it's not on Spotify, and it will be at some point, but right now, like artists, we don't make money on Spotify, and so I need to feed my kids. And if Spotify isn't going to do that, then I don't want to trust them with my music right now. It will be there because I love Spotify. Yeah. As a user.
Not as an artist.
So it's on Bandcamp. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can find me at Drew Brown Music or at Hymns for the Architect. And if you go to the link in either profile, you'll see a link to my Bandcamp, which you can buy the album X instrumentals.
All right, everybody, you heard it here. It's a great album to listen to. X, the instrumentals by Hymns for the Architect, Drew Brown. It's been fantastic talking to you. I hope to do this again soon. Actually, see you in person when all of this madness passes over, which it will, which it will. But thank you so much for deploying your talent and your craft and your creativity into serving others. I think there's no higher calling than doing that. So thank you very much, and we'll keep talking, okay?
Sounds good, brother. Have a great night, man.
You too, sir. Take care, bro.